sued over that too, in all 4 U.S. border states where new wall projects are underway. Emergency or no emergency, environmentalists want the government to keep ecosystem protections in place.
President Trump's dedication to getting the wall built is not a new concept. He's been promising it for a long time. He was touting the plan to put up this barrier, extending it, since his campaign started in 2015. Is following through on the pledge an important part of his re-election strategy? How about fundraising strategy? I spoke with Ashley Balcerzak. She's the federal politics reporter at the Center for Public Integrity. She had some insight on this. She has been tracking all the president's campaigning and realized he's been doing it since his very first day one in the White House.
This number blew my mind. Talk about, I guess, just set the benchmark for where President Trump is right now at the 2-year mark into his administration compared to others.
Yeah, so he so far in 2 years has raised $67.5 million. And that is insane. Like, most of the time you don't really start fundraising until at this point. In comparison, Obama had raised 4.1 million. And then it goes down from there. Like, you have Bush at 2.2 million, George W. Bush, Clinton at 2.8 million, Reagan all the way down at 548,000. So it's just incredible. And then on top of that, we did another piece that was analyzing these outside groups. You can't give $1 million to Trump, but another outside group can form, like a super PAC, which can take unlimited amounts of money and can spend unlimited amounts of money from corporations, unions, basically anyone in the U.S., no foreign money. And so all these groups together, it's about another $60 million. And then on top of that, there are nonprofits that are also spending money and have raised about another $60 million.
We know that in a traditional campaign, you know, they love to tout, we got this many small dollar donors. And the limit of donations, the cap is really pretty low if you look at it. But how are they generating so much money in the constellation of President Trump, aside from people who, you know, click on Trump2020.org or whatever it is and give $25?
Yeah, so small dollar donors are huge. Yeah, the limit that you can give is $2,800, but you're considered small if you're under 200. So Trump, he's been really, really great with the kind of swag and the merchandise. So I don't even think some people realize at the beginning that if you're buying a MAGA hat, that's like going towards his campaign. But there was one expert that we spoke to that said maybe 30% of all of his donations are coming from things like this, like the hats. He was selling bricks for $20.20, like for the border wall.
Do you think once you get down to it, once we get into 2020 or someone on the Democratic side captures the nomination, that President Trump's war chest, as it's usually called, will give him a true leg up? Or do you think Democrats can make up the difference?
Yeah, it's going to have to be seen. Like, again, Trump has 2 full more years building this. No Democrat is even really close, but I don't know. I mean, you have people like Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris that have a lot of these small donors, and Bernie Sanders, for instance, is going to have the name recognition too. But Trump has been spending a lot of time already basically campaigning for the last 2 years while these people have just started coming out.
When there is a permanent campaign, and there is a literal permanent campaign now, does it actually affect the governing or the legislating that's being done in D.C. or even in states where these practices might be happening? Or does the permanent campaign and fundraising not matter?
I mean, this is the first time that we've really seen it happen, and I think it depends on if you're a supporter of the president or not. If you think that this time that he's spending is detracting from it, or if he's working really, really hard to try to fulfill the things that he campaigned on in the first place, like the border wall, for instance. So, I mean, I think it's up to your perspective.
A bit later on the show Newsy tonight, the big business of detaining migrants. We travel to a rural county in Illinois where a deal with ICE is bringing in millions of dollars every year. That's immediately following the why. Turning now to